Hey everyone, it's James Morgan. Hope everyone's doing great today. And those of you who don't know me, James Morgan, I'm a guitarist, jazz, rock, jazz, contemporary jazz guitarist. Been playing for about 50 years. And I've written hundreds and hundreds of songs. I've had numerous bands. I've always been a band leader. Um, and out of default, basically because I read by play music by ear and also compose all my own original material. So I don't really do covers. I have more recently, but more jazz. And let's see, I have about 8 albums out that I've recorded over the years, and now I'm on the ballot for the 67th Grammy Awards. With my latest project with Gary Husband on drums and keyboards, Hadrian Fraud on bass, and then guest artist Eric Marienthal on sax, and Joey DeLeon on percussion. We have a 5-song EP album out called A Soul in Time. This Most of the songs were co-written by myself and Dean Brown, legendary guitarist who passed away earlier this year. Of course, he's played with Billy Cobham and the Brecker Brothers, and music director for Roberta Flack, and just an extraordinary career as an educator, composer, and performer. And the album was also co-produced by Gary Husband, who oversaw the mixing and final mixing and mastering. And of course, Hadrian Fraud, everybody knows, excellent bass player. So the video I'm making today is going to be focused on the music industry, as they call it. And there's a lot of videos I've seen out there where people say, hey, the music industry is dead. You have to do this, you have to do that to make it in the business. And I think how you approach music, the music industry, which is basically just streaming platforms that play your music now. Record labels, even back in the old days, sure, they would give you advances and pay for your recording, but those when they paid you in advance, you had to pay that money back, and a lot of that money went back towards recording. So the labels, you really didn't make that much money back then. You made money off of touring, percentage of it, and album sales, things like that. If you had shared licensing and copyright things, aspects of your songs. So I look at it like this. Again, I've been playing for about 50 years. In 2020, I decided to get into the contemporary smooth jazz genre because there was money in it, and exposure for me. Playing jazz rock, which I had been playing jazz fusion bands previously. Yeah, I was able to play clubs here and there, rock clubs, but it wasn't a music that a lot of people drew a lot of attention, unless you were somebody like Alan Holdsworth or John McLaughlin. You already had a brand that you built, 30, 40, 50 years ago. My band Dialogue Project, there are videos on the Ghost Jazz Trio YouTube channel, this channel, if you search for them. I was fortunate to record a few albums with that band. I had interchangeable personnel over the years, and I was able to open for Alan Holdsworth in 2013 at Brick by Brick in San Diego. Which was great, and got some exposure that way. But the jazz, contemporary jazz genre, for me was something I hadn't done before, and I got into it because, again, I wanted to create an income stream for myself. And I'm 67 now, so I started that, in 2020, 4 years ago. And so I was 63, and I wanted to start doing venues in this area in San Diego don't pay that much. So I really wasn't bringing in much of an income from selling albums from the jazz rock fusion or any merch, maybe some small royalty checks from all the usual suspects that you apply to get them, which is Sound Exchange and MLC and BMI and so on and so forth. So, and I wanted to increase my business doing events, corporate events, private events like weddings, parties, things like that. And I use a site called Gig Salad, which I pay yearly annual fee. So, and then I get gigs through that. So, and then a website. But the point is, I want to make for this video is that just like any business, restaurant business, music business, catering business, whatever it is, you have to invest in it. If anyone tells you that years ago you didn't have to invest, well, of course you did. You had to invest hours and hours of rehearsing. You had to buy equipment. You had to record and then demo tapes and get them maybe to a label. And then, yeah, sure, they would sign you and give you an advance, but that's an advance that you pay back. And if anyone tells you different, they don't know what they're talking about. So in order to build your brand, you have to invest in it. And if you believe in it, you will. Nothing comes for free. I mean, the hours and hours you put in is your time. That's time you never got paid for. If you're a YouTuber or a musician or an Instagrammer, influencer, you put in time that you did not get paid for until you reached a point where you could start making some money. So no one gets paid right away for doing anything. And you have to build your brand. Now, that's what I did. My brand is the Ghost Jazz Trio brand. And through Gig Salad and the right formatting of my website, I was able to start generating an income stream, not just for myself, but I've put food and income into other people's lives through the last 4 years. So another way, other than that I make money, and I've generated quite a nice income this last year. I'll say that I made between $50,000 and $100,000 in income, and that's from doing events. That's from music license syncing with getting my catalog. I have over 42 songs in catalog, and that's another aspect besides doing private events. Venues, again, don't pay enough around this in San Diego. They'll pay a band 120, 150 a night. Plus, and then they'll give you food, and then you go play. Well, that's what people were making in the 70s and the 80s, playing. You rehearse. You got to pay for the rehearsal space if you don't have your own. If you don't have a lockout, and then you drive there. You set up an hour before. You play for 3 hours, an hour, half-hour breakdown. So you spend 4 hours, and then you hopefully made some tips. Well, for me, that isn't going to work. And if you're an unknown artist, like I was in obscurity and 5 years ago, and I've had a good career. I used to had a band that opened for Mickey Thomas. We built the city in Rock and Road, Sarah, that song, Starship. So, I've done my work, and but again, you make your money off doing events, and you want to list yourself as whatever genre you are. You don't list yourself as a wedding band or an event band. I list myself as a jazz band, because if you go into the analytics of Google, when Google is spidering the web, people are searching for a jazz band. They're not looking for a wedding band. A wedding band can be confused for a wedding band on your finger. So you don't want to do that. So you say you're a rock band. People are looking for a rock band or a yacht rock band or a cover band. Whatever the genre is, that's what you want to list yourself as. And I'm on Gig Salad. I'm on a couple other booking agency, and you pay for those on a yearly basis. And you deduct that from what you make. So you'll make that back. I have, and then some. Just on gig salad alone, I think I made, I'll say between ten and $20,000 myself, and that's after paying out the musicians that I hire as independent contractors. I have several drummers, bass players, and keyboardists that are calls that I'll call and say, hey, I have these gigs, and whoever I end up getting, they know my material. I already paid for those rehearsals and time for them to learn my music. And if they read music, they read lead sheets. That's all you need. So I'll say and that's just off that booking agency. I have other ones, plus my website. And so you want to book yourself in events, and you can create a nice income stream, as I have. Also, music licensing. You don't want to put your music in a catalog like a lot of people tell you to do, because who's going to take the time to search catalogs for all that? And the chances of you getting those is like winning the lotto. I recommend finding someone that actually is a go-between between you and those people that are looking, those companies and advertising and video games and movies that are looking. They have this contact person. So what I've done is I've actually I've been working with a sync, actually a couple, and I've made some pretty good money. I'll say in the last year, I made almost $30,000 just licensing my music. So there's two income streams right there. And again, as I told you, I've made between $50,000 and $100,000 this in 2024, and that's from doing what I do. You find that you brand your music, you stick to what you're doing. Don't listen to whatever anyone else is telling you as far as what kind of music you should play and all that. And because of me building my brand, I got to the point after doing a few albums, and I'll show you right here. Here's one album, my first album, Invisible Time. All right. So I produced that, paid for it, did it myself. It's an investment. So I could give those to talent buyers at clubs or for events, and they could hear quality recording. And it worked. But then the album got nominated for the Best Jazz Album of the Year by the San Diego Music Awards, which gave me a little more credibility. I could use them as an accolade to get more work. Then I put out my second album, which was on the level. And I had a featured artist, Patrick Youngdahl, who has 27 albums out. He does music, syncing, licensing. He's for Young Sheldon. His music's on that. He's a prolific. He makes a great income doing that. And then my third album, which was this one, Dreams Above, also got nominated. So those three got nominated. And what I decided to do at that point was to get a producer. And I've already been paying for my own recording. So I'm paying the recording. I'm making the money from getting gigs. That pays for it. Right? That's what you do. Like any business, you invest, you get the building. If you're going to do a restaurant, you sign a lease. You're paying out $2,500, $5,000 a month. You have employee insurance. You have food costs. You have to furnish the place, to get it designed, all that. You're putting money in because you're going to make money back. That's how you do it. No one's going to hand you anything. And then this album, Groovin' Smooth, which was produced by myself and legendary guitarist Dean Brown, who also helped co-write the songs and performs on the album. And that album also got nominated, finished at number 73 in the top 100 albums in the smooth jazz charts for 2023, and which is amazing. And again, I just started doing those to have something to give people to listen to get shows. So from that album, and I had a marketing partner, smoothjazz.com, for almost 4 years. And that's really what you want as a marketing partner to help. They would email blast a single out to terrestrial radio stations and so forth to get you on there. And then what happens is, for instance, in the genre of smooth jazz, you have 92 reporting stations. So they report, you have billboards and all that. So because they report how many spins you get every week, the charts come out every week, then the charts come out on Monday, I would see who would add me to their playlist rotation and who didn't. I would send an email every Tuesday. I did this for 4 years, every Tuesday, thanking them for adding me to their playlist rotation. And those that didn't, I would ask that they would do a follow-up. From doing that, I built my brand and people know who I am. And I was able to get a lot more events and booking. And that's why I said, again, I say I've made between $50,000 and $100,000 just doing this online. I didn't go out driving in my car, trying to get gigs and all that, just using the internet. A lot of stuff's free, but a lot of stuff you got to pay for. Then my next album, which was a solo album, A Soul in Time, co-produced by myself, Dean Brown, and Gary Husband, who plays on the album, drums, keyboards, Adrian Fraud on bass, again, guest artist Eric Marienthal. Put the album out, put a single out that I edited for radio play, which was the title cut, A Soul in Time with Eric Marienthal, smooth jazz stations. That album has streamed a lot of streams on Spotify and a lot of other streaming platforms. Now, one thing I'll interject is if you get contacted or you see ads where they're going to go ahead and help you get on playlists and all that in Spotify, what you're doing, and I use CD Baby to get my music out there. That's great that you're on playlists and you're on Spotify, but you don't make any money off those platforms unless you're doing millions and millions of streams. And if you are, you'll see major artists like Neil Young and bands that don't put their music on those platforms because those platforms are like Napster originally. They're just making money by getting subscribers, millions of them, to pay a monthly subscription to listen to music they basically hijack for free that you're giving them because you want exposure. Great, you're getting exposure, but you're not making any money. And that's the way I looked at it. I didn't mind being on platforms, but at this point, for me, I actually pulled my Soul in Time album from Spotify. I left it on other ones, Apple and so forth, just out of protest of the fact that they're making money off of. Why put it on there? I make more off selling one CD than I did a month of streams on Spotify. So I went to Bandcamp with my latest album, Soul in Time, which I just showed you. There it is. Sorry about the camera. Don't know why it's doing that. And Bandcamp, I sold hundreds of CDs, and I made a lot of money off selling CDs. I was surprised. People from Europe were buying it, paying the $30 shipping charge, which was amazing to me, but it's because, again, I created an album, 5-song EP. I had 2 top call musicians on the album I was lucky enough to get to play with because of Dean Brown opened that door for me. Gary Husband, Adrian Fraud, Eric Marienthal, who, they invested their time in the album. And the album, again, it's on the ballot for the 67th Grammy Awards. I'll find out if I'm a nominee on the November 8th, 2024. So I went from obscurity in 2020 to that in 4 years. And it's because I put in the work. I have the drive. You have to have the drive. Doesn't matter how great your technique is, how accomplished you are as a musician. It really doesn't. If your skill level's at 10 and your drive is at 5, the person whose skill level is at 5 but has a drive of 10 is going to be more successful. That's just the bottom line. Look what happened to me. I'm 67 years old. In 4 years, I went from obscurity to being on the ballot for the Grammys. And I'm making great money through licensing, syncing my music. I have a catalog of 42 songs. I've already got a couple really nice payouts from doing that. One was, I'll tell you, was between $20,000 and $30,000 for a 7-second part of one song for an app online that's used. And that's all I'm going to tell you. So the money's there. You just have to know how to go look for it. I'm on all the royalty. I used to get maybe $12 when I first started for a quarterly, and then maybe 42 or whatever payouts from CD Baby would be like 12 bucks, 20 bucks. Now I'm getting hundreds of dollars every month and more. So I invested the time in recording. I invested time in rehearsals. I invested the time in driving gas money to go do events. Now that paid off. So I'm getting that money back. And like any business, you have to invest in yourself. And your time is an investment. What do you charge for? Are you giving yourself $100 an hour? Or is it $20 an hour? Is it minimum wage? Whatever it is, you're investing your time, and you'll never get that back. But you will get it back if you do it the right way. So for those of you out there that don't think that you can make it and make an income stream or several income streams from your music, I'm here to tell you you can, and I do. And I do it from the small home studio on the internet at home. And if you are interested in being coached, I actually coach a couple of musicians and bands that I've helped. I do charge a fee, and I've helped them, and they're already doing what I'm doing in a few short months because I already know what to do. They don't have to do what I did, which is figure it out over the years. I already know what to do. So if you're interested in getting yourself where you have a nice income stream, like I do, contact me. You can contact me through Facebook, James Fusion Fingers Morgan. You can contact me through YouTube, through this video, and at the Ghost Jazz Trio at gmail.com. Contact me directly. I'm always interested in helping other musicians. So again, if people are telling you that, yes, the industry has changed, the music industry, there's maybe one or two labels. They're basically marketing now. They're all about, they're going to stay with the Taylor Swifts and the Keith Urbans and the big names because it's all about advertising and sponsorship and making money off tours. But if you're like me, an independent musician, just want to play your own original music, and I always have, just do what I want to do. But if you parlay it correctly and you book and you market yourself correctly, you can create a nice income stream for yourself. I recommend writing as many songs and recording as many albums and songs as you can. You can sell albums, as I told you. I just sold a lot of albums with the Soul and Time, but it's because I have Gary Husband and Hadrian Farad, and then of course Dean Brown associated with the project. But I put myself in a position where I was able to do that. And we're going to be doing a second album coming out in 2025 called Bridge to Forever. That'll be with Gary Husband and Hadrian Farad and possibly a surprise guest, somebody I'm talking with now. So those will be all original songs. It'll be in the jazz rock genre. I'm no longer doing actively putting my music in the smooth jazz genre. I did that to build my brand, and I have. So I have albums, I have accolades, and I use that just to get more event work, and I'm booking that. And again, I'm putting food on other people's tables, my own, just from doing that in a few short 4 years. Yeah, I've been playing 50, but I've been actively using my drive to market myself and create a brand, which is the Ghost Jazz Trio brand, and now myself to get work. So you don't have to say, oh, wow, there's no music industry anymore. there's no, everything changes. It's always changing. It's never been the same. But what you do is you adapt to the new environment and you create a brand and you market yourself and you build that brand till you get to a point where you have an income stream. That's what you want, is an income stream. So that's what I did for myself, and I'm very happy about it. I stuck to what I wanted to do, and I remember I was out filming a music video with Dean Brown and the videographer, and we were out in the woods, and it was for our single that we released called "Sound of Wood." It was the last song that I wrote that we all came back in the studio to record, where it just featured the guitar, natural wood sound of the guitar. And I remember Dean coming up to me, he goes, "Man, I wish I had your drive." And he goes, "I have the passion, but I wish I had the drive. It's been 6 years since I've done an album." And I said, you had the drive when you were younger because you were starting out. And now you're teaching, you're doing this, you're producing. So you're filling your time with that than doing your own album. And that's why this album, A Soul in Time, became so important to Dean, because it was a jazz rock album, compositions that I had written and given to him so he could help create more of the song form and write melodies for it. And he was excited about it because it was like he was doing his album, but he wasn't actually playing on it. And of course, he became ill during the production of the album and couldn't, because I was actually going to ask him if he wanted to play one of the songs. So again, just stick to what you want to do, build your brand, and invest the time and money into yourself. There's nothing wrong with investing money into recording and rehearsals and ordering CDs and then selling the CDs, because and then getting your music and music, movie, and video and syncing in a catalog, and find those connections to have someone shop your songs to those opportunities, like I have. And again, I made between $20,000 and $30,000 off a 7-second clip of one of my songs for an app that they're using for the opening of the app and the closing of the app. Go figure. So the music industry is always changing. It's never dead, because you create your own business within the music world, the business world, a music business. You have to turn your music into a business. I don't write songs for other people. I don't perform really for other people to perform for them. I'm actually, making the music for me that I like and that I'll always have. And then I share it with everyone. And if people like it enough to get on a ballot for a Grammy Award, which I could end up winning, you just don't know. So you have to be open and ready. So my recommendation is practice your craft, hone your craft. So when those opportunities come, you're ready, like I was, and I am. And keep using and parlaying all the accolades that you get to creating an income stream for yourself to survive as a musician off your music. And that's what I'm doing. You can have other income streams too. There's no reason not to. You can be a landlord, own property, collecting rent. You could be, created cookies that you have a great cookie and you sell them. And maybe another family member does that for you and you get a piece of the pie. Whatever it is, it's a different world now. You can make money. Even Tony Robbins, the great Tony Robbins, who I worked with for a few years in his financial sector of his empire, helping businesses double their revenue in a year or less. And Chet Holmes, who's his partner, we worked together to help people grow their business and make more money. And it was all through marketing and their name and how to do it and the 12 competencies of building a business. And even Tony Robbins, who used to have to go to a city and then he would have to advertise it, and then people would have to fly to get a hotel, rent a car, buy an airline ticket, pay for the place to go, and all that. He would reach those people that could afford it. Now it's all online. He just does online seminars uh, for a week or whatever, and people will sign up and join them, and they don't have to fly, pay for a hotel, and all that stuff, and they go through the process. So online is how you build your business now. A lot of it's free. Yes, you do have to pay for some. So what? We all have to pay for something. And that's what my message is today. Have the drive, believe in yourself, and create income streams for yourself online. And that's what I've done. And keep playing your music and believe in yourself. Putting stuff online every day about yourself and your music is not egotistical. It's not bragging. It's not any of those things. It's, you have to have content online. That's what it is. And you're marketing yourself. That's what marketing is. If you just sit in a room somewhere and you don't let anyone know about who you are, that's it. Now, yes, it's going to be harder to have bands these days. There's very few bands. A lot of the really good musicians you see online are what you call YouTuber guitarists and bass players that just put content online of them playing with either other people's music or cloning somebody like Alan Holdsworth, or playing a Chick Corea song, Spain, and they do it incredible, and that's great. But that's all they're known for. And they may make money off doing that, and they're happy with that. But you don't really know these guitarists as a band. Like, Al Di Meola, because he played Return to Forever. He had his own albums. John McLaughlin from Mahavishnu Orchestra and Fourth Dimension, and putting albums out. They created brands for themselves. Alan Holdsworth, he was a brand, and he had a certain style. And he played what he played. He wasn't a millionaire. He didn't make millions of dollars. In fact, when he passed away, he had bills he had to pay, and he had rent he had to pay. He lived here in Vista, near where I live in Carlsbad, and but he was happy playing the music he liked playing, and that's what it's all about. So, in conclusion, do what you need to do to get your music out there. Invest in yourself and create an income stream for yourself. Nothing comes from without investing in yourself. And I hope the video was helpful, and I look forward to obviously hearing from you. You can make comments below. This will be posted on YouTube and elsewhere. And again, do what you have to do for yourself. It's all about you.